Hi guys, welcome to Chit Chat with. And today's guest, she's a woman, she's young, and she's a journalist student. Please welcome Malaika Gangooly.
Everyone.
It's my honor, I'm the one feeling honored to have you here. Honestly, I'm so nervous to be here and talking to you. So if you don't know, Malaika and her three friends organized a march in Chelmsford right after George Floyd death. I want you to lead us through what happened to you and your friends. Why did you guys decide to organize this?
So I had the idea of organising, me and my friend had the idea of organising a Black Lives Matter protest in Chelmsford because we live about just over an hour away from London, and I know a lot of people wanted to go to London for the main protests, but obviously we were in a pandemic, so didn't want to travel and all of that. Plus Essex is quite a racist county, so we just thought it would be great if we just organised one here, and it took a lot of work. We only had about 9 days to do it, and it was a really stressful time. I literally couldn't breathe, but so we had two other people helping us, and then we worked alongside the police and the council and the government and blah blah blah, and yeah, that's why we decided to organise it.
That's amazing. You mentioned in the BBC article that you were the only kid of color in your class, primary. Was that a primary school?
So it was my primary school. I went to two primary schools, and I was essentially the only brown girl.
How did you feel about that? How did that affect your life to the point that today you're this person?
To be honest, I don't think it affected me at all. When I was a kid, when you're that young, you don't really understand the complexities of race and all of that. You're just you don't really think of color. But I didn't realize that I was being that I was getting bullied for my race. I always got bullied for the color of my skin and my surname and stuff like that. The kids would literally try and suffocate me in the playground because white. But to be honest, I kind of forgot about it. I don't really think it affected me. Yeah, I know I got bullied, but I didn't really think it was because of my race.
Yeah.
To me, there were just always bullies in the playground, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but I don't know. It probably did shape me into who I am now, but hopefully those bullies have learned a lesson now, so.
I believe they did. But it's crazy because I find some kids, really mean. I don't know why, because I talk with experience, because at home we're kind of programmed and thought that we should respect everyone. I shouldn't care if anyone talks back at me, especially white kids. This when I was younger, and now I just don't get why the white kids or other kids, why aren't they educated to respect our differences?
I think it's the way they were raised, because obviously their parents haven't done a good enough job talking to them about normal things in life. So yeah, I completely blame the parents, because a 7-year-old kid isn't going to know that she's being racist unless she talks about it at home and her parents don't do anything about it. So I think it's completely the parents' fault.
George Floyd's death, let's talk about that. George Floyd's death obviously shocked the whole world, and the fact that some people don't understand the dimension it's horrendous. And how is it for you to deal with the hate you said you received, although it's a reason to continue? How did that affect you? How was it to deal with that?
Well, obviously I work for the BBC now, and I've been working with Amnesty International and the mayor and schools and blah blah blah. So every time that I end up on the TV or radio, I do get hate comments. And when I organised the protest during and after, and it's nearly been a year now, and I still get so many messages to the point where last year the BBC had to come to my house to film all the hate comments that I was getting because it was so extreme. But honestly, not even one affected me. Like it just made me laugh. There was there were so many horrible things said about me and the color of my skin, the color of my hair, the color of this and that, and it just made me laugh so much.
How is your hair color like bothering people?
Because I had red hair, I still do.
Yeah.
They were saying it's cultural appropriation to the Celtic heritage. So yeah, that's how far they were going. And so if I'm getting comments like, oh, to go back to my country, to do this and that, like really horrible comments, I don't know, it just showed that what I was doing was working.
Yeah.
Because if these people are getting affected by what I do, then obviously I'm doing something right. Because the whole point is to cause a wave, like to dismantle the oppression that we live in. So if the oppressors are getting pissed off with what I'm doing, then obviously I'm
right. But how were your parents dealing with that? I mean, were they aware of like the hate comments you received online?
I think they were kind of worried, but they know that they could tell I just wasn't getting affected. But I think they thought I was hiding how affected I was, like putting on a brave face. But I really couldn't have cared less about any of the comments I was getting. So yeah, they got interviewed by the BBC as well, and they were just saying how proud of me they were. Bless them. But no, yeah, I don't think they were that worried. They could see that I was handling it fine.
You showed them confidence, like you were fine. And I told you that I swear my parents would love to have you as a daughter. But it's amazing that some of us are doing it. I mean, I don't know why when I was reading the article, I was like, you know, you're doing so much for such a young age. Like we're the same age, and you're doing it all. Honestly, you're living. I mean, I wouldn't say living the dream, because living in a racist country is not the best thing, but you're doing it. That's amazing. And you also said that one of your teachers said that if there were like more voices like yours, we would have less problems today. Do you think that each of the voices that have yet to be heard, including yours, that it's like already a role model for many people, will have like enough impact to reduce racial and other discriminations that we currently live with?
I definitely think so. I think because people myself, we're starting to use our voice. I mean, the protests were a year ago now, and since then schools have definitely been trying to, you know, I was emailing my geography teacher back in the day, and she was telling me how she's trying to decolonize the geography curriculum, and I know that history teachers are trying to do the same. And I think if the protests didn't happen, and if people like me didn't use their voice, then these things wouldn't happen, and people would just go about their day because they're ignorant to it and no one's ever spoken about it before. So I think if the more people that do use their voice, like the more change that will happen. And I honestly, there's no way about, it's so obvious that change is happening, like little by little. So yeah,
doing it baby steps. But you know, I've heard this from Black people, some people say that this fight is not worth fighting for because people just assume, they're just sure that racism will always exist. There's no way around this. And how do you feel towards that? What's your...
To be honest, I do think that racism will always exist.
Okay.
That's quite controversial, especially with what I do, but there's no doubt in my mind that racism will always exist. And it's a shame, but I mean, we can try to limit how much racism, we can try to educate people. I would love to think that in 100 years, you know, the world would be a much less racist place. And I'd love to think that, and obviously we won't be here to see that, but I think what we leave behind us and the legacy that we create, we need to try as hard as we can to ensure that the world we leave behind is as least racist as possible.
I know, because it's a hard work, innit, to make like the world a better place. Like imagine a world without racism. racism. That's I can't.
It's the same with sexism. Like, I think it's the same. I don't think women will ever be treated. I mean, I cannot even imagine going down the street and not getting catcalled, and I think it will happen to every woman for the rest of the world, for the rest of life. So
you know, let me tell you
it's the same with racism, to be honest.
When I was younger, obviously I come from a country where the majority of like population, let's say 99% is black, so I never really experienced racism within my own country. I had the privilege to travel with my parents, and I don't know why, but my parents, they don't allow themselves to feel any sort of way with any comments. They just don't. I don't know. So I never experienced like direct racism towards me, or because maybe my parents are so protective and they kind of programmed us not to care, as in to ignore those mean comments and be proud of ourselves and everything. But just this week, I went to this shop and I was looking for skincare. I was at this cosmetics place, and all of a sudden all the security guards were like surrounding me. I felt so weird, and I was like, like, don't overthink, they're just doing their job, maybe it's nothing to do with me. And then I was like, let me just make a test. I moved just a bit and they moved with me. They literally followed me throughout like the whole time in the shop, and I felt like the need to buy something just to prove something, and I shouldn't feel this way. It was so weird. And like just small stuff, as in when I was in the bus, someone would come along and literally sit, I don't know, so far from me because they don't want to sit next to me. And it's just like this simple thing. It is.
Because even if you don't know if it's to do with your race or not, you'll always think that it is.
Exactly.
And it's the fact that white people don't even have to think, oh, is it to do with my race? Whereas with us, it's always at the back of our minds, like, is it because I'm not white?
It's always there, and the way that we're looking at me, even just like the people that worked in the place, I felt so bad. I was like, let me just buy this and leave. And I came home and I was talking to my parents. I was like, was I underdressed? Because I have to tell you, sometimes I overdress to go to places. Just to try. Okay. No, but listen, I overdress. Why? Because I kind of I don't want them to assume anything. I don't want them to think less of me. So I tend to overdress, and that's kind of stupid. But I do.
The way that you've been conditioned, it's not your fault that society's made you feel like you have to do that.
Exactly. And then my dad was just like, you just don't try too much. It's basically just because you're black and that's it. It's not because you're underdressed, nothing. It's not because of your hair, just your race, that's it. And well, that's a shame, their loss. But last week, I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, we finally had the verdict of George Floyd case. How do you feel about that? How did you react? Because I shouted. I literally shouted in my sister's face. I was like, we did it.
Think back, so it was last Tuesday. So I was actually on a date, and I was on a date, and we were all drinking, but it was just us two, and we were drinking, and then I get the BBC notifications on my phone saying that in like 5 minutes we're gonna find out whether or not Derek Chauvin's been charged. So I just wait like with bated breath basically, and I was just so scared that like I didn't want to end up crying on my date, because that's just really awkward. So I was just waiting, and then I got the notification saying that he got charged for murder. So I cried, and but the thing is, like, it's really sad that everyone was so was wondering whether or not he was gonna get charged, because he's so clearly a murderer. Like, there's literally video proof of it. So why was everyone so like scared about like his trial? Because obviously he would be charged. He should be charged. But it's the fact that we all know that the institution is so unjust.
Exactly.
That we're so scared. And the thing is, like, it's literally not justice at all. Like, I don't think it's justice. Like, justice is when like black people aren't getting murdered by the police, and like how can we call it justice when like the system is so inherently unjust? And yeah, the next day I got calls from the BBC and loads of different radio stations and TV people from the UK, and they were asking me to comment on the Derek thing. And yeah, I was just saying, like, I just don't think it's fair. Why should a man have to be killed for this to happen? As in, this whole thing just doesn't make sense. Like, it's a really, really sad day, to be honest. I think it was just, there's so much racial trauma for black people, and it's just a sad day. Like, I don't think that we should be celebrating the killing of a man who shouldn't have been killed. So yeah,
I just hope his family just gets some kind of like closure somehow with this. But I think now expectations are high. Like, what do you expect from different cases that have not yet had a very good, like Breonna Taylor?
If the murder of George Floyd didn't send all these shockwaves around the world, I think Derek would have gone free. I think the Supreme Court of the US only charged him because they knew that they were being watched by all of these people. If it had been just like any other day, any other killing of a black man, he probably would have gone scot-free. And I think it's because they knew that if he didn't get charged, something bad would have happened to Derek, or the US Supreme Court would have been stormed by protesters. So I think that's why they charged him, to be honest.
And do you reckon, like, this Breonna Taylor case, like, do you think the same will happen in her case?
No.
Really?
I'm pretty sure the guy who killed her has now got a book deal. Like, I heard that he's been signed a book deal. Like, I don't think that it's going to be the same. I feel like America has just been like, oh, we've done our job now. We've charged the guy for George Floyd. That's our job done. And maybe I'm just being cynical, but with the way the past has gone, like, how are we supposed to be any more hopeful? I mean, hopefully this is the start of something great. I mean, hopefully this is the start of so many murderers finally being charged for their actions. Or maybe this is the start of black people not getting killed.
Maybe.
But only time will tell, and I hope that people take a lesson from this. Yeah,
I really hope the same, honestly, because people's expectations are now so high, but honestly, from deep down, I don't think the other case, especially if they're not public, I don't think much will happen, really. I think the officers will just get discharged.
Happened with George Floyd is because there was video evidence of it.
Yeah, clearly.
Realistically, there's not ever really video evidence of anything else of other black people getting killed. So yeah, we'll never know.
Unfortunately. And what plans do you have after like this huge movement? Do you plan to do more? How does it feel like? Yeah, tell me. Sorry.
No, carry on.
No, I was like, how does it feel that, you know, your voice really contributed to drawing attention to a real problem and making changes? I mean, even if small.
I hope that it did. I mean, I'll never know if it really did or not, but I hope it did. And I mean, I never stopped after the protest. That was just the first step of my human rights stuff. As I said, like, I've been making school resources for schools. I've been doing assemblies. I've been, you know, working with the BBC and Amnesty International and the mayor, and doing panels and guest talks, and like so much just to raise awareness and to talk about really important issues. And I mean, I think in August we'll be organising a protest again, but I want to do it bigger and better, which is really stressful to think about.
Tell us everything.
Obviously, last time we did speeches at the beginning, and then we did the march, and then we did the kneel at the second location, and people spoke and did whatever they wanted to do. But this time I think we're gonna do a lot of music, and I want to bring in food trucks, and I want to like have artists performing after the march. Like I want it to be sort of like a celebration of black culture alongside the march and protesting, because just because like George Floyd got murdered a year ago doesn't mean that we stop protesting. Like that's ridiculous. So yeah, that's.
I feel like some people stopped, honestly. I feel like some people just don't care anymore.
Of course, and 3,000 people turned out last time, and I would love to think that more would turn out this year, but because the momentum's died down, I don't know, maybe we'd only get 100 people, but that's enough,
You will do it in Chelmsford, so is that right?
Yeah, so I live in London, but I'll stay in Chelmsford, for the protest, definitely.
Send me the date, tell me everything, I'll be there.
Yes!
I would love to. Like, honestly, I would love to, because let me tell you, I think around the same time last year, it happened one here in Lisbon, but my mom was so scared. She was like, what if something else happened? We don't know. Like, police brutality, the whole thing. It was just a whole... Let's not say drama, because that would be me offending my mom, but my mom, she's so worried, and I was like, I really wanted to go, but I'll definitely be there this time.
No, it is so scary, but honestly, you feel so empowered, and all of these black people were just crying because they'd never felt like that before, like they'd never felt listened to and heard, and that is the prime reason. That's when I knew that I'd done something right, because I just wanted to give them, not without sounding patronizing or anything, I just wanted to give them a voice where they felt like they never had one in Essex.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I want to do again, and
I'll be there.
Happily. I'd love to see you there. You definitely need to come.
I swear, I love organizing events, and I would love to be part of this, honestly, I would. Yeah. So I want to get to know you more. Talk about us, because you give me this mysterious vibes,
Do I?
Yeah, you're kind of mysterious, and that's good, in a good way. As in, like, there's more to discover. So I want to know, what are your hobbies, apart from doing these reports and working for BBC with the mayor and everything? Like, what do you like to do?
I just like going out and getting drunk, to be honest. Like, as soon as April 12th rolled up in the UK, I've literally been out every day.
You do you.
Tequila shots, gin, like it's just been great.
What's your favorite drink? What's your go for?
Favorite drink, which I've converted everyone else to now, it's orange gin with lemonade and lime, and it's classic. Like everyone loves gin, but no one ever tries orange gin, and it's just the best one. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking. I've also started drinking mango and papaya gin, and it's really, really good. So yeah, that's what I like to do. I just like to go out, and I just like going out. Like, I love being in the sun, doing activities, like just breezing around. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I want to know, why have you decided to do journalism? Why journalism?
No, like I just love it. Like, I genuinely love it. I just love talking about important issues. I love interviewing people. I love presenting. Like, I love doing radio presenting and TV presenting. Like, it's just so fun. You get such an adrenaline rush from it, and I love reporting, love interviewing people, like I said, and I would love to go into pop culture, interviewing celebrities on the red carpet. That's a dream.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, it's so fun. I would just love to do it, and I love talking. So yeah, I love everything to do with journalism. I think it's so cool, and I love current affairs. So when you're presenting the news, you don't have a choice but to know about the news of the day, and it really gets you into, you just stay so updated all the time, and I just love it.
That's cool. The way you talk about your love for journalism, it's amazing, because you know that there's people that just do their degree for the sake of it. Not everyone found their passion, and the fact that you did, it's amazing. And
it's with my journalism course, I love it, but there are so many things that I literally like I hate writing my 3,000 word essays, and there are some modules which are just such a drag. Like I hate history and stuff like that. And I hate like data and analytics and blah blah blah. But it's still like at the end of the day, like you can basically do what you want. Like you can write. Like I wrote an article on NSARS, and that got published, and it's raised a lot of awareness for it. So you can basically like write and report about what you want. So it's quite cool. And I did an Asian politics module, and that I didn't actually go to any of my lessons. I ended up doing the best in my class. So I just love it. Like I really, really love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You found your passion.
My thing, yeah.
You found your
Yeah.
thing, really. And what's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert? Oh my gosh. That is such a difficult question. I love everything. Like I love ice cream, brownies, creme brulee. Oh, apple crumble and custard. I think that's my favorite. Yeah. Yeah.
My go-to dessert is like something that has chocolate in it.
See, I'm much more of a savory person than a sweet.
Really?
I have a sweet tooth, but I'd say I'm a savory girl.
Got it.
Yeah.
Let's play Would You Rather.
Okay.
This list and let's see. Would you rather have bad breath or smell bad? Like bad.
Oh. That's really difficult. Oh, I'd rather have bad breath because then you can just have gum, right? You can just chew gum the whole.
Yeah, you can just chew gum.
Whereas, like, your body just carries you. Like, it's gross.
It's actually gross. Would you rather listen to music like your whole life or watch movies? If you had to do one.
Oh, music. I don't like movies.
You don't like movies?
No, I'm a series person.
Are you?
Like, I really rarely watch movies. I'll never watch them alone. I'll watch them with a friend, but I much prefer series. But I can't do anything without listening to music. Like nothing.
And so what's the series you're currently watching?
What am I watching now? Oh, it's called Superstore. It's on Netflix. It's just about like basically Walmart and like the people who work in it. It's like The Office, but it's really good. Yeah.
I gotta watch that because
it's really funny.
I'm a movie girl and a series girl. I love musicals. I love documentaries. I love action, comedy.
I love a comedy film, to be fair. I love them.
Like, if you had to pick a movie.
I love Grown Ups, with Adam Sandler.
I don't you think that Adam Sandler, he literally picks the same people for all of his movies?
Yeah, because he's always with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, always.
For the love. Yeah, I love her. Like I love Friends. Like I can literally quote every single line of every episode.
I love Friends.
Yeah, well.
Now tell me one thing. Why everyone hates Ross?
I just think he's a bit irrelevant. I just think he's a bit annoying, and I think he's really toxic as well.
He is.
I think he's just quite toxic. He's a bit of a psycho. He's really jealous.
But would you rather have Rachel with Joey instead of Rachel and Ross?
No, because it's always Rachel and Ross. But it makes me really sad that Joey doesn't find anyone.
I know. For a moment I was like, he and Phoebe should just get together.
Yeah, but I love Phoebe and Mike.
I know. And then there's Phoebe and Mike.
There's Phoebe and Mike.
There's Monica. I mean, I love Chandler, and I would love to marry someone like Chandler. I don't know why.
Really? I love them together, but I don't love him as a person.
Really?
Why? I think he just tries too hard. I think he's really emotionally unavailable.
That's true.
Can't deal with men like that. He uses being funny as a front.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, that says a lot about me.
Yeah. Well.
Don't worry. Would you rather spend an evening with Oprah in a cemetery or have a date with Chris Evans while cleaning horses' feces?
Oh, Chris Evans. I've never really watched Oprah.
No,
I feel like it's an American thing.
It is.
I don't really feel like many people here watch her, and I know she's great, but Chris Evans is a beautiful man, so I would go with him.
Do you like Marvel?
Yeah, like I don't mind it. Like I do like it, yeah.
Who's your favorite? Is it Captain America?
No, it's Robert Downey Jr. Love him.
Really?
Love him.
You're an Iron
Yeah.
Man fan.
Yeah, I just love Robert Downey Jr., yeah.
What? I feel like everyone just loves him.
Yeah, I just think he's really cool.
Avenger, people always go for him.
Yeah, Kevin Hart's my favorite. Like I think he's so funny though.
Oh,
In general.
he's literally the best.
Yeah, I
If
think
I
he's
had to
funny.
pick someone from Marvel, I would go for Loki. I just
Yeah.
like his,
Fair enough.
I don't, that again says a lot about me because I love his personality.
Yeah,
I don't know, he has charisma. I don't know his charisma.
he is great as well. Like he's great.
Would you rather have a Bigfoot, as in Bigfoot?
Big food.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait, what? Big food?
No, food. Yeah, food.
Oh,
Food.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The legend, like the whole.
yeah.
Exactly. Would you rather have a food in the size of Bigfoot?
Oh,
I say food as in food.
yeah, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, right.
Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah. Or how do you say it? How do you pronounce this? Is it tentacles?
Tentacles, yeah. Oh
As
god. Oh my god. Probably Bigfoot. Cause like, what am I gonna? I mean, having 8 arms would be really handy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what.
So, which one are you going for?
Maybe tentacles?
Really?
No, probably Bigfoot. Probably Bigfoot. What would you do?
I'd rather have like big, hairy feet instead of like tentacles as arms because it's not really.
Yeah. And hide the foot.
Yeah. With what?
I don't know. Yeah, you're gonna have to get custom-made shoes or something.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it.